We've got to raise the bar, and we've got to continue to raise the bar. I don't think any of those young men, when they signed to come to Tennessee, they signed to say they wanted to come and be a part of a 7-6 program. All right, they said they wanted to come and compete for championships, SEC championships, national championships. I know that's what I want. I know that's what Tennessee wants. I know that's what the expectation is. So we've got to continue to reassess everything that we're doing and make sure that we're continuing to move the needle in the right direction.
Just making sure that the little things are taken care of, like getting our cleats in the dirt and just playing.
What we have to do is make sure that we got our cleats in the ground before the ball is snapped. I think that's the key to the game, and make sure that
just get our cleats in the ground, execute calls, the urgency of communicating and getting lined up.
Yeah, you got to get your cleats in the ground and you got to go play.
Yeah, I didn't sign any mustard bottles or golf balls. Maybe wish I had had a golf ball that night, you know what I mean? But I'm only kidding. All right.
Pardon me and my tone. You can't step to my throne. They ain't working like me. I did this on my own. You asking where we been, huh? I don't know where to begin, huh? All this dirt on my skin. I just came here to win. I'm more than a man, I'm a monster. Somebody call the pastor, doctor. I got a 6th sense for imposters. So now I'm coming for the whole roster. It's not a game, why you playing with me? You could double back, lose track, try and hang with me. It must be in my veins, something you can't tame, cause I break the chains. Can't control me. I got the power, I got the keys, cause I break the chains. They try to hold me, I'ma push back. Just wait and you'll see. Please excuse me, your honor, but you can't hold me no longer. Can't you feel the vibrations? I broke out and left traces. Go ahead, try to catch me if you can, man. You'll be looking all night, I'm a Sandman. New York, London to Japan. I'ma show the whole world who I am. Boom, boom, major look, huh? Yeah, this one is for the books. All these chances I took still, I move straight on these rooks now.
Welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. All this and all that, yada, yada, yada. My name is Boogie Bentley.
I'm Dauber.
I'm Xavier the X Factor.
What's going on, boys? Feels like it's been a minute. It feels like it's been an eternity since we've streamed together. I did a stream, what was it, I guess last week with Gabe, but it feels like it's been a minute. What's going on, Dauber?
Not much. Just like not much went on Monday night. Absolute snooze fest. I tell you what, when Georgia opened up with Oregon at the beginning of this season, they looked good, and I thought, man, they're going to be tough. And then, it's like they, I don't know, let off the gas, didn't really play hard, coasted through the season. I thought Tennessee could hang with them, but man, they just dominated TCU.
I'm not glad I got sick. but I'm almost glad I got sick because a watch party of that nonsense would have been unbearable. Would have been a disaster.
Yeah,
I
just not worth.
watched the first quarter and I was out.
Same.
Yeah,
Same.
not worth it. Not worth it at all. Just an embarrassment to TCU, or excuse me, TC who, because that was an embarrassment. So, but congratulations to the Georgia Bulldogs. I mean, we all knew that you was going to win it this year. Congrats. But yeah, just an embarrassment. Yeah, TCU is just an embarrassment.
Let's run down the chat. Let's see who's hanging out. We got a fun show tonight. Told you guys, made a promise to you guys. If you allowed me to stick it to the man, quit the job and do this thing full time, we were going to bring you more live streams. So that's what we're doing tonight. We're going to talk a little bit about the transfer portal. We're going to talk about the AP poll, the coaches poll, and then the main event, the way too early predictions for 2023. But right out of the gate, guys, smash the thumbs up. Share out the link. Let somebody know we're live. I know these off-season live streams aren't going to be as big. You guys can help us out by hitting the thumbs up, sharing it out, and joining the channel. I see a lot of people without the power T beside their name, and I heard a story. I didn't make it up. This is just what I was told, that if you don't have a power T beside your name, you must be a Georgia fan. That's what I heard. It's not what I said. It's what I heard. Brad's in the house. What's up, Brad? Dropping those custom Talkin VAWLS emojis. Fish and Beans says, howdy, howdy. GBO, good to see you, Fish and Beans. Rufus Beard is in the house saying, GBO, the GOAT is here, and then he was gone. Did I say something to offend GOAT, or did he say something to offend the Lord? So he's going to church tonight to ask for forgiveness. You never know. Jerry Miller's in the house, member of the channel. What's up, Jerry? Good to see you. Dave is here. What's up, Dave? Backwoods is in the house. Kelly Goodwin is here. What's up, Kelly? Cameron Dyer in the house. What's up, Cameron? Who else we got? Crystal Free is here. Leah is in the house. Seth is in the house. What is up? I see a lot of members of the channel. Terry Reed, Shane Taylor, Beer Cans and Baddies. Great name, but not a member. Not a member. And you know why? Because he's here to celebrate Georgia. It's very strange, very weird, but we will allow it. We will allow him to be here to celebrate their undefeated season. They deserve it. Leah also said Boogie's theme song. Yeah, 100%. I love that song. Not copyrighted, but man, it tells a story. Nugs in the house. What's up, Nugs? Zach Cherry's here. What's up, Zach? Good to see you guys. Come on in, smash the thumbs up. Let's get things rolling. We got a super chat here. Man, I'm way behind on the chat. Ron the Don for $5. Thank you for the super chat. Entry fee and a box of popcorn with butter. Appreciate that, Ron the Don. There's a door fee around here. If you want to come in, you want to watch the show, number one, hit the thumbs up. Number two, drop your $5 entry fee. It's a requirement. Again, I don't make the rules. I just enforce the rules. Actually, I don't. I just tell you guys the rules. Tim Bradley is the enforcer around here on the Talkin VAWLS Network. But come on in, guys. We're going to have a fun show tonight. I'm excited to talk a little Vol football 24/7, every day, every month, every week. That's what we're here to do. Guys, the coaches poll came out today. Did you guys, I know, Xavier, you said you saw the video. Dauber, did you see the polls or the articles that were coming out about this thing?
I saw the polls. I didn't get a chance to watch the video yet. Some of us actually have to do real work, and we don't get to watch videos all day.
Are you saying this isn't real work?
No, I'm not saying this. I mean, like, I don't get to watch videos all day.
Xavier doesn't do real work, is what Dauber said. What happened is the polls came out. The biggest joke, I'll give you one guess. Who voted Alabama number 2? Well, his name is Nick Saban. Butch Jones, Shiano. There were a bunch of people that voted Tennessee like 7th. Just an absolute joke. An absolute joke. But the big conversation for me in the video that went out, how do you validate, Dauber? How do you validate TCU? I've got it up there on the screen. Let's see. Does it look better? Yeah, it looks a little better that way. TCU up there at 13-2, 2 losses. Explain to me, Dauber, because all I've heard about Tennessee, why they can't be ranked ahead of Alabama, a team they beat head-to-head, had more top 25 wins against. I've heard that Tennessee can't be ahead of them because of the loss, right? The loss to South Carolina. That's what those same people are trying to sell me on the fact that TCU belongs at number 2 because they were in the national championship. We're going to ignore a 65-7 loss because they got there. They got to the dance. They were a part of it. Now, it's comical to me because somebody in the chat, they left a comment a couple of days ago on a video. TCU, let me lay this out there. You guys, maybe you guys already know this. I know you already know it, but maybe you have thought about this. TCU was ranked what? Number 4, right? Going into conference championship week. What happened to conference championship week? Anybody want to answer that question? Just a simple question. What happened to TCU conference championship week?
They got beat.
They got beat by Kansas State.
What were they ranked the very next week? That would be number 3. Now, what happened once they got into the college football playoff? They beat Michigan, big time win, biggest win of the season for them. And then they lost to Georgia. What happened after they lost to Georgia? They bumped in the rankings again. Only TCU can lose 2 out of 3 games and go from 4 to 2. Dauber, explain it to me. Tell me something that I don't get because I don't understand it.
No, man, it's one of those things that it's a head scratcher for sure. I can't figure it out. You know, if you go by records, Michigan should be up at 2 because they've got 1 loss. And then you've got a bunch of teams with 2 losses. Tennessee should be ahead of Alabama because head to head. You know, there are ways to, without getting into, you know, trigonometry and all these, you know, crazy computer models, and you can figure stuff out. You can look at common opponents. You can look at head to head matchups. It's just a joke. Like you were talking about TCU getting finagled and moved around so Michigan and Ohio State didn't have to play in the first round. Because honestly, that's what it was for. They shouldn't have been ranked at 3. They should have been at 4. And it's just a joke how the NCAA they maneuver and work things not for the betterment of the student athletes, but to line their own pockets.
Yeah, it's just an embarrassment because really you're asking yourself the question too. It's like, okay, is the committee actually doing their job and looking at the strength of schedule on every team, every conference, and putting these teams where they need to be? Or are you just looking at just, you know, the wins and losses and just the popularity of the team? Because, yeah, TCU, I mean, we said it all season. We're like, oh, they're not a top 5 team, which they're not. I mean, we've seen it Monday night. But yeah, if you ask me, you should need to bump Michigan up to 2 just because of the fact that I give them the edge of 2 because they beat Ohio State. I mean, they actually just put a beat down on them. That's why I would move them up to 2. Ohio State should move up to the 3. And then, like what Dauber says, just Tennessee, we should at least be. I mean, you can argue to be 4th and 5th, but honestly, I would see us at that 4th spot just because, like Dauber said too. I mean, we beat Alabama, so it's only right for us to be in that 4th spot. And you can have Bama at the 5th. That's fine. But yeah, TCU just needs to be at the bottom of the list somewhere because, like I said, that was just a complete embarrassment. Just the college football in general. So, but yeah, like I said, the committee is just a joke, and hopefully when we get into like the 12 team, you know, playoffs, hopefully that the committee will correct some of this.
Well, I don't know that they're going to be. I mean, can they correct it? What's going to happen is you're going to have 3 or 4 SEC teams in the Final 4. Like that's what's going to happen, and you're going to see more of these blowouts, the 65-7 blowout. That's what you're going to see in the early rounds. You'll see some good matchups right in the middle of the bracket. You know, I guess 12 teams. You're going to have some buys and all that nonsense, whatever. But you're going to see some good football. You're going to see more football. Like the first round of the college football playoff was great. Like, yeah. I mean, and kudos to TCU for that win over Michigan. I mean, that was a big time win. I didn't expect it. I didn't see it. But then you get to the championship and just who's watching that? And it's all about money. That's why, you know, Dauber said they bumped TCU to 3 because they were avoiding the Ohio State Michigan rematch. And it's so convenient, right? That your top four teams in the college football playoff also are your final 4 in the Heisman Trophy. I mean, come on. Like it's stupid. It's all about money. It's all about advertising. I get it. I understand it. But I just want somebody that wants to argue with me in the comments to come on here and make a valid point of how a 13-2 TCU who has top 25 wins. Let me I got the schedule pulled up. I got this because TCU top 25 wins. Let me search. I'm searching. Their first top 25 win came at the end of October against Kansas State, a team that they went 1-1 with. They split when you got to the conference championship. They also had a top 25 win over number 25 Texas. That's it until you get to the college football playoff. And again, I already gave them credit. That Michigan win was huge, absolutely huge. But is it about what does TCU look like in the SEC? What do they look like?
1-12.
Xavier, they can't play 13 games if they only win 1. First of all, but I mean, what are we looking at, Dauber? 8-4, 8-4, if not 7-5, depending on their schedule. They got a Georgia schedule or a Tennessee schedule? Which one they got?
It to me, this TCU team this year kind of reminded me of like Ole Miss from last year. You know, they're pretty good offensively, a little bit sketchy on defense. Could surprise some teams here and there. You know, a good football team, but man, you talk about in that top tier, and you know their coach, Sonny Dykes, going off about you know the SEC and playing cupcake schedule and this and that and all, and then gets embarrassed in prime time on national TV. Man, I'd worry about my own house before I start you know throwing stones at somebody else's because that was embarrassing. You know, and I know you got to give Georgia a lot of credit. They came out and everything worked. They had a great game plan and they executed. But that's what you have to do to win football games in the SEC. You know,
what would Tennessee have done to TCU? What would Alabama have done to TCU? What would LSU have done to TCU?
Oh,
And I mean, that's
Tennessee
your top 4
with Hendon
SEC
Hooker.
teams.
Tennessee with Hendon Hooker, man, it would have been. I think it would have been a blowout. I don't know if they would have broke 60 like Georgia did, but I think it would have been a blowout.
Yeah, I mean, I said all year I thought Georgia was the best team in the country, and they proved it. They proved it.
Well, and let's just be honest. Even like I said, if TCU was to play in the SEC, listen, Vanderbilt could beat a TCU, and I know we pick on little brother a lot, but I would have bet all my money towards Vanderbilt to beat a TCU.
X Factor going all in.
I'm serious because like I mean, it's just a joke, man. It's just like look, and I get it. It's an impressive win over Michigan.
Are you talking football or baseball or basketball?
Tennis.
No,
Robert, tennis. He's talking basketball. Look at that sweet hoodie. Look at X Factor repping the brand. Like me and Dauber on here, and X Factor is the only one repping the brand. Got the beanie on, looking fresh, looking clean. Got that purple lighting. Got that purple lighting.
Got that purple TCU lighting.
Yeah, what are you doing, X Factor? What are we doing around here?
Hey,
on TCU with purple in the background.
Hey, purple lighting because like I said it's an embarrassment. Listen, look, it's not because I'm excited. It's because I'm feeling blue after that championship game. That was an embarrassment. That was just a god awful embarrassing.
Let me hit a couple of super chats real quick. Zach Cherry for 5. Thank you, Zach. Appreciate that. Dorfy. That's about time. Who left the back door open? It's time to get some Dorfies around here. Thank you, Zach, for the 5. How about going 3 for 3 with the transfers? Yeah, we're going to get into that in just a second. Zach, thank you for the super chat. Jason Lawrence for $20. That ain't cheap. Thank you, Jason. Appreciate that. Also, shout out to Jason for donating to Fisher House. Like he set that up for one of his regular donations out of his paycheck after the live stream a couple of weeks ago. So shout out to Jason for that. Says, good evening, guys. Glad you're feeling better. Boogie, my too early prediction is that Georgia will not three-peat in 2023. The Vols will see to that. Bring me the Georgia Bulldogs. Bring them to me now. I cannot wait for the rematch in Neyland Stadium. I can't wait. That game is circled on the freaking calendar. It's circled every single year. I'm excited about that one. I know we don't have Hendon Hooker. I know we don't have Jalen Hyde, but we got some weapons, and we're going to get into that with the transfer portal here in just a second. But thank you, Jason, for the super chat. Appreciate that, buddy. $10 from Logan Branham. Appreciate that, Logan. Let's get one thing straight. Anyone who rooted for Georgia because they pulled for the SEC, just admit you're not that dedicated. Your team, go big fluffin' orange. And that's all. That's what he said. Go big fluffin' orange, and that's all. Thank you for the super chat. Let's talk about that because I used to be one of these dudes that was big time into SEC pride. Go SEC, sitting around national championships going, roll tide like an idiot. Until enough years went by and I was like, screw SEC pride. Watching Alabama win, watching Georgia win, watching these other teams win national championships does not help Tennessee, Dauber, in any way, shape, or form. Are you ever pulling for another? I don't care if another SEC team ever wins another game.
No. I had a shirt years ago that said all orange all the time. And that's, man, that's what I pull for is Tennessee. I'll watch other football games and, I'll pick somebody between the two sometimes, but I'm not just pulling for somebody because their affiliation with the SEC. No, I just can't do
Yeah.
it.
Same with me. Like I said, I mean, don't get me wrong. As conference all around, yes, the SEC. Because I mean, you look at the two teams that's coming over here in the next couple of years is Oklahoma and Texas. Because that's where the money's at. It's where the competition is at. So I'll always be an SEC guy. But when you have, like say, like a Georgia or a Bama going into the national championship, it's just like nah. Because if you think about it, it's going to help them as a program because like I said, as far as recruiting, these kids are watching these two teams and they're probably like, okay, I want to get to that level, not just to get to the league, but I want to compete for a championship too. So what does that do for Tennessee? Nothing. I mean, yeah, we're in conference, but that doesn't mean we're not there. So kids are just looking at this game like, okay, well, Tennessee's not there. I mean, yeah, they're in the SEC, but what's that going to do for me? You know?
Yeah, you get down to a recruiting battle with a kid, and it's between Tennessee and Georgia, and Kirby Smart has that. Look at these two national championship rings, kid. You come here, you can win a natty. We may not be able to do. Say Tennessee offers a little bit more in NIL. We may not be able to match that NIL deal. But guess what? We can do. We can get you to the NFL. We can get you a national championship opportunity. We'll get you a lot of exposure.
Mm-hmm.
Why would I want Georgia to win a national championship in any way, shape, or form? Joe Bird for a 99-cent super sticker. Thank you, Joe. Appreciate that tip in the old tip jar. Guys, come on in, smash the thumbs up. We're just getting rolling here. Going to talk a little bit about the transfer portal. We're going to talk about way too early season predictions for 2023, but appreciate 164 of you guys hanging out with us live on this Wednesday evening. We're going to make up the watch party. I haven't decided what yet. I know Xavier was excited about the Kentucky game, and I had a brain fade that it was a Saturday game. I can't do Saturdays until March, so we'll find something else to do, whether it's a midweek basketball game or an old football game. We'll find something to get together and do a watch party for all you watch party enthusiasts. But regardless, we appreciate you guys hanging out with us for this Wednesday night stream. Let's talk a little bit about the transfer portal because Tennessee went 3 for 3 yesterday.
Big day.
Boogie just dying. Boogie dying up all night, sick as a dog. And I knew it was going to be a big day. It was convenient, right? Because the wide receiver from Oregon scheduled for 1 o'clock, defensive tackle scheduled for 4 o'clock, offensive tackle scheduled for 7 o'clock. You think that's just convenient? Just a coincidence? No, it was orchestrated. Josh Heupel scheduled those times. I knew it was going to be a big day, man. And then you had Juwan Mitchell go into the portal as well. But Dobber, what did you think? Who were you most excited about yesterday? And then we can kind of not even yesterday. Let's talk about the transfer portal as a whole, because you've got the linebacker from BYU, you've got the offensive tackle from Texas, and then adding Dante Thornton, which is probably the guy I'm the most excited about. How do you think Josh Heupel's done? And it's not over, man. We got another window coming after spring practice.
Yeah, absolutely.
So far, how are you feeling about the portal?
And that's, we're on our way too early look ahead into 2023, and it's tough to do that because you've got so much that can change between now and then. You do have another period where you're going to have a flood of guys going to the portal. There's probably going to be some guys check out after spring practice. So what this team looks like come August, September is going to be vastly different. You got a quarterback battle. That's something that I'm excited to see. But in terms of the portal, I think we've had some addition by subtraction. Had some guys that, I don't think they were really threats to see the field, find other places. And, I wish them all the best wherever they're going.
Did you see Tennessee? One of those ended up with Alex Golish?
I did.
I saw
that.
Was it Jimmy Callaway or Jimmy Holiday? I've been getting those guys mixed up for 3 years now.
Jimmy Holiday. I think it was Jimmy Holiday.
You just confused me. But in terms of what we've added from the portal, right now, the linebacker from BYU is probably the one I'm most excited about. You look at a guy that's been a starter and a team captain, coming to a position, where we need some leadership and somebody to step in. you know, you think back to when Tennessee was really successful and at the, in the elite of college football. What did they have? They had linebackers who dominated the game. So I think that's one place that has slipped a little bit uh, for Tennessee. But you look at the other day picking up the three, all areas of need, and that's what this coaching staff has done in the uh, transfer portal. They've picked up guys, not to just pick up guys. They've picked up guys where they need guys, and they've picked up guys that have come in and made an actual impact.
Yeah. Overall, like I said, Josh Heupel, I give him mainly, like I said, a B plus on the portal right now because he's killing it. And like what Dauber said is that yeah, he actually pulled guys to where in spots that it's a must, it's a need. I feel like there's still some work to be done. Like you still need to add some linebackers to that group on the defensive side of the ball. I feel like we still need a couple more tight ends on the offensive side. And then too, as far as like for the running back group, man, I'm excited for Dante. I'm like you, Boog. Dante was a big, really big addition to this Josh Heupel offense. It's like what I said when you and Gabe was on here talking. Is he's probably like a Jalen Hyatt 2.0. I mean, his frame, just his speed, everything you want from a wide receiver on the athletic side of things, of that side of the ball. That's what you want. So I'm really, really excited that he's coming here to Rocky Top. But overall, for the portal, man, I got to give Josh Heupel and this coaching staff at least a B plus. Like I said, there's still some areas that needs to be filled. And then like what Dauber was saying, going back to the running back room, wide receiver room real quick, you got competition there too. You got Ramel Keaton, Dante, and Squirrel and Brew. So you're going to have a lot of offensive weapons that you're going to have to either rotate or find a scheme that's going to work for these guys to get open. But overall for the portal, I'm excited, and I can't wait to see what more additions are coming.
Chaz Nimrod, I think keep an eye on him.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm telling you, I think Cam Seldon finds a way to work himself into this offense, be it as like a scat back with his frame and size, or like a flex, H wide receiver or something. Man, I'm super excited about that. I know that's not transfer portal, but that's a kid that I'm really, really excited to see him just come onto the scene in Knoxville and emerge and just light it up in this offense, man.
I think he could be a Squirrel White type of guy that early in the year they find ways to get him on the field. And then as the season progresses, you're seeing more and more and more. And that's what you want out of these true freshmen. And, talking about the linebacker, and we can blend the transfer portal into recruiting too, because Tennessee is recruiting legitimate linebackers now. They recruited 2 legitimate linebackers this past season that true freshmen, Caleb Perry and Elijah Herring. And we saw Elijah Herring get on the field and make some plays. And then in the class of 23, they got some real freaking dudes, man. They got some real dudes. What I'm concerned about, Juwan Mitchell to the portal, do I care? Do I not care? I'm not really sure, because I always wanted Juwan Mitchell to do more, and he never did, man. He never did, but you still look at him as depth. And maybe the kid from BYU and Aaron Beasley are going to be your starters, but then you were kind of hoping Elijah Herring and Juwan Mitchell would maybe be your twos, because this coaching staff wants to rotate players on defense. We saw it with the linebackers this year. We saw it with Jeremy Banks, with Aaron Beasley. Do
they want to, or was that out of necessity?
I think they want to, man. I know Rodney Garner does. That's Rodney Garner's mojo for the defensive line. I think that's what they want to do at linebacker too, because why not? I get it. Like if I'm the dude, I want to play every snap, right? I want to be out there every freaking down, every snap. I was talking about like baseball. So I can't even remember who I was talking about it with recently. And I was like, I always wanted to pitch or catch, because I didn't want to stand out there at first base with my twirling dirt and whatever. I wanted to be in the action every play, whether that was pitching or catching. I wanted to be involved in every play. That's just who I am. And it's if I was playing linebacker, it'd be the same. But it makes sense strategically when you get to that fourth quarter, man. If you got 4 guys, three's good, 4, particularly at linebacker, that you can rotate and you're fresh in the fourth quarter, that makes a difference when you get to SEC play. And that's why Rodney Garner wants to do it. And Garner's building a freaking ridiculous defensive line.
Man.
You talked about the linebackers, and that's true. The Al Wilsons, all the Raynoch Thompson, all the great linebackers that played at Tennessee. But the legendary Tennessee teams had nasty defensive lines, and Rodney Garner's building one. And that is how Tennessee takes the next step. You get those edge guys, and we got a bunch of freaking good ones, man. And if Rodney Garner continues to build, the class of 24 is going to be huge. You add enough talent in the class of 24, the sky's the freaking limit. There's no looking back, man. Tennessee's back if the class of 24 hits.
So staying with the portal here, do you think that Mitchell was just toes in the water, dipping, feeling out the NIL opportunities?
Maybe a little something I heard.
Working
little rumor mill that I heard. You want to hear a little inside baseball that Boogie got told? Jeremy Banks, Juwan Mitchell, Kamal Haddon were told to figure it out or freaking hit the road. So be prepared, because Kamal Haddon's going to be kicking rocks real soon if he don't figure it out. That's going to be the next one into the portal if he doesn't figure out how to get the right freaking head on his shoulders.
Hey,
it's coming.
Listen, because after what we saw with the
South Carolina, that's where it started.
Just the issues stemming from the locker room and all that entailed the week of the South Carolina game, and then played out on the field in Columbia. That's fine. If that's what it takes for this coaching staff to, maintain control of that locker room and have guys in there that are all bought in and rowing the boat in the same direction, then
yeah. And with Jawan, like I said, with him, hitting the portal and stuff, and it's like now that you heard he's hitting the portal, and then with the whole, drama with Jeremy Banks and Hendon Hooker situation, it makes you believe it's like, okay, so yeah, it was definitely probably an NIL issue. Just, like I said, and you got both of you guys know I'm a big, Jeremy Banks fan. But like I said, that ego, man, he's got to get it in check. But yeah, I believe it's all nothing but NIL. And like Book said, yeah, it's like, okay, so look, either you get your act together or
and that's the thing. And this is all new territory. All this NIL stuff, all the effects of what it can do on a locker room. If the coaches don't have control of it, it's going to cause problems. And I think you saw Jalen Wright, his cryptic tweet, and then all of that, I think, was a ploy to work a better NIL deal. It was scare tactics, and I'm going to transfer, I'm going to go somewhere, and all he's doing is trying to. Which, I mean, how do you regulate that? How do you control that? I mean, you've got a freshman quarterback coming in that's supposedly getting $8 million NIL deal, never played a snap of college football. So these guys want to get theirs because they can now. How does that sort itself out?
Well, it's like the conversation we had about Jalen Wright, Dauber, off the air through text message. And you're like, wait a minute, he's getting NIL offers when he's not in the portal? How is that happening? And then I'm like, well, you know how it's happening. And then follow that up with the kid from Cal. His freaking strength and conditioning trainer is reaching out to other football teams to gauge interest. As long as the kid doesn't do it, it's legal. So if it's me and X Factor's not playing college football, I'm like, hey, X, here's Heupel's number. Give him a call, tell him Boogie's interested, and let me know what he said. Like, it's such an easy workaround. It's a joke. But it's just like the polls and everything else in college football. It's all broken. They don't have enough regulations in place.
But to be fair, though, like I said, and no disrespect to Jabari Small, I love you, kid. Look, you gave your all for Tennessee, and I appreciate that. But I always thought Jalen Wright was the better back anyway. I mean, he had like some issues fumbling the ball and stuff. There was the past 3 games he did it. He did it in the Pitt game, the Florida game, and a little bit in that Bama game. But after, like I said, that Bama game, it's like he cleaned it up really, really quick. So honestly, I'm really not mad at the kid for, using a little scare tactic to say, well, hey, I'm going to transfer if you guys don't give me a better deal. and it worked, you know. So now that he's back, and honestly, I believe that you're going to see probably Jalen Wright and Dylan Sampson as your 1-2 punch running backs. That's just what I see. So, but even kind of correlating this with the portal too, that's why I feel like on the offensive side of the ball, you do need some more running backs, because I think, are we still down like 2 running backs with Justin Williams and
Whitehead.
Whitehead? Yeah. So
But you
that's
got 2 freshmen coming in, but that's not the same. That ain't
yeah,
the same.
exactly. So I feel like we still need to recruit more running backs on the portal side of the ball on offense.
Let me jam a couple of super chats real quick. We're going to stick with the transfer portal, even though we're 35 minutes into this thing. The main event tonight, we're going to talk about way too early season predictions. We got 213 people watching live. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Smash the thumbs up. Quick, free, easy. We would appreciate that. Also, if you got time, share the link. Hit the share button down below. Blast it out. Look, we are less than 500 subscribers away from 20,000. I made it my goal to hit it by the end of 2022. We didn't get there, but we can make it happen. So share this thing out. If you know somebody that's a Tennessee fan that doesn't watch, let them know about the show. Let them know it's for the fans, by the fans. We're not media, all that jargon. Like, we're not on here. Well, what do you think, sir? Tell me your opinion. And ignoring you guys know just as much about football that we do. That's why we bounce off the chat. We enjoy the interaction. It's part of what this channel is. Let somebody know. Let somebody know about the Talkin VAWLS Network. Let's hit 20,000. I don't know if we can do it by February, but let's try. Let's push all in. We're less than 500 away. Let's get it done. Ron the Don for 10. Thank you for the super chat. I just wanted an SEC team to teach the other conferences who is the best and strength of our competition within the conference. I get that, and I was there too for a while. That's what I used to say too. Let's show them the SEC is the best, until Tennessee struggled for 20 years. And then I got sick and tired of seeing the Georgias and the Alabamas and the other schools dominate. That's kind of what changed my opinion, Ron the Don. But you do you, man. If that's what you want, it's all good. Whatever you buy into or believe in is all good. Wayne Starnes for $20. That ain't cheap. How is cheapskate Wayne dropping $20? We appreciate it, Wayne. UGA has spent big money in recruiting the last 3 years. $9.06 million. Wow. Where do you get that number, Wayne? Alabama second with $7 million. Got to spend more money there, in my opinion. Go Vols. Well, you know how you can do that. There's a way that we can match all that money. And there's a link in the description to how you can get involved in the NIL game. I wasn't going to do this tonight, but Wayne's pointing it out, and it's part of recruiting now. Aspire Sports Group, NIL. You can get involved in the NIL game. The link is in the description below. You can hit that link. We are an affiliate. They kick a little money our way if you click our link, but also 90% of the money goes to the athletes. You go to the website, you click join the volunteer club. You're going to get perks and benefits. It's kind of like joining the channel here. It's like, if you like what we do, you support what we do, join the channel. We're going to give you some perks and benefits. You can come on the show, the emojis, all that stuff. It's the same way here. 90% goes to the athletes, but you get to choose a membership tier. You can go $5 and get a decal and a newsletter, or you can give a little bit more. And you get original content, monthly autograph raffle, or you go a little bit more. You get a guaranteed autograph item. I've seen guys with Hendon Hooker autographs, Cedric Tillman autographs, Jalen Hyatt autographs. You go a little bit more. You get a custom video message from athletes, go a little bit more. 2 custom video messages. You get watch parties with student athletes, private tailgates with student athletes. You go a little bit more. And the more you give, the more you get. But again, the link is in the description below how you can get involved in the NIL game. But I just bring that up because Wayne makes a big point there. You know, if we're going to compete, you got to have the money. And there's strength in numbers. And I think we've got the biggest and most passionate fan base in the country. And we can utilize that in the world of recruiting.
Now, I think what Wayne is talking about there is what the school actually spends on recruiting. NIL is completely separate.
Don't ruin
completely separate from what the school spends, and it's not affiliated with the school.
I had that great plug, and Dauber ruined it. Dauber ruined it.
But
so what are we saying, that Josh Heupel needs to hire more staff?
Well, I mean, listen, it's not just about spending money. Go ask Jimbo Fisher about just throwing money bags to people. Didn't work out too well down there at College Station.
You bring up a good point, though, because, you know, we talk, it's easy for me to get on here and say, hey, go support Spire Sports Group. They'll kick a little money our way and we can pay our bills with it. That's easy to say, right? But a legitimate question, Xavier, is how do these schools balance promoting NIL collectives and promoting boosters and just general funds to the athletic department for stadium renovations? Like,
Right.
you've had all these big time boosters, right?
Mhm.
We could all throw the names out there. We won't do it. All these big time boosters, and they kind of allocate the funds. We've been paying players under the table for years. It's a known fact. So you kind of have to allocate paying players and also renovations and locker rooms and all that stuff. How do you balance that fundraising, X?
It's just it's like we've always came on here and talked about it. Right now, it is the Wild West. It is the wild, wild west. And eventually, like, yeah, I'm hoping within the next 2, if not 3 years from now, that, yeah, there needs to be some kind of control over this because, you know, I mean, yeah, because we're kind of right now kind of torn as, like, you know, college football fans right now with the whole NIL deals going on. But yeah, you're gonna have to find some kind of balance. I mean, you're just gonna have to. I mean, the way that I see it, I just think maybe if they can include, like, maybe the players also. I mean, I'm glad they're getting paid, but give them some insurance or something, like some kind of like insurance deal with their NIL to where, you know, if they get hurt, then they're all covered and they're good to go. And it's actually pretty funny because me and my uncle, we went to Wild Wing Cafe and we was sitting talking to this guy about NIL and everything, and he made a kind of a pretty good point too, is that because you know how other endorsements can also play a factor in the NIL game too, is like, look, you look at where Oregon's at, Nike, and you got Under Armour. So I really believe that eventually that Nike and Under Armour is also going to play a big factor into the NIL game as well. So yeah, man, I mean, this whole thing is kind of getting out of hand. But I mean, for me, like I said, as a Tennessee fan, hey, go for it. You know, these players do deserve to get paid. Me and my guy friends have always been preaching about it for so many years, but there does need to be some kind of control over this situation.
What happens when the TV
You know what
deals
solves the
get
issue
involved?
of
Sorry, go ahead, Dauber. You lagged a little bit. Go ahead.
that's big time money right there. But
No,
you
you
know
go
what?
ahead,
You know
then
what
I'll come
solves
back.
the issue of do boosters donate to the school or to the NIL collective? Winning.
Yes.
That's simple. You've had Tony V with the baseball team reaching number 1. You've had Heupel with the football team reaching number 1. You've had Barnes with the basketball team reaching number 1. The success in Knoxville right now across Tennessee athletics, that solves all those problems. A lot of that, I know that Barnes and Vitello were pre Danny White, but what Danny White has done across the Tennessee athletic department, across the brand of Tennessee athletics, fundraising and ahead of the, you know, seeing that, man, it was, gosh, probably a year into NIL stuff before the university actually put out promotion and saying, hey, this is what we're working with Spire Sport. This is where we need to go support so that our student athletes are, you know, properly funded and, you know, their NIL, their name, image, and likeness, you know, they're paid. So it is, it's one of those things. Winning cures all that. And you're going to have boosters that donate to the school. You're going to have boosters that donate to the NIL.
I'm completely going out of left field here. If we have a schedule, we have topics that we're going to talk about, but you mentioned Tony Vitello and Rick Barnes, and so I gotta throw a fun question at you guys. Yesterday I recorded Locked On Vols with Eric Kane. Congrats to Eric Kane. He got married a couple of weeks ago, but the dude put his honeymoon on the back burner for the Orange Bowl because he's got a job to do. So he's going on his honeymoon this next coming week. And he's like, Boogie, I got to record a few episodes while I'm going to be out of the country. Can you jump on? So we recorded an episode and it was kind of a recap of 2022, fun special moments. And he ended the show with this question, and spoiler alert, because this comes out on Monday. It's coming out next Monday. So I'm stealing his gimmick and throwing it at you guys. I won't tell you my answer. You can probably figure it out real quick and easy. I'll throw it at you first, Xavier, and then Dauber, you can follow up. Who wins a national championship first? Rick Barnes, Tony Vitello, or Josh Heupel?
Tony Vitello.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Why?
Tony
Why?
Vitello.
Why?
Because man, just Tony Vitello, man, like I say, he's got that it factor, dude. Like I mean, he really does. He's got that drive, he's got that passion, and like I said, like before when I was on the show, I'm not like a real big baseball guy, and that's not no disrespect to the sport. My dad played baseball growing up when he was my age, but I just never got into it. But anyway, but yeah, man, just Tony Vitello, man, just his attitude, his competitive spirit, man, and especially if you look at this past season of the record and everything. I mean, yeah, I mean we came very very close to winning the national championship. So yeah, I mean if you ask me, Tony V's definitely going to be the one to win the national championship. Second, I'm gonna go ahead and say probably Josh Heupel. It's gonna take him just a little bit, but I really believe that Josh Heupel is gonna win another national championship for our football program. Rick Barnes, that's just to be continued. Let's just let's just go ahead and just say that it's to be continued.
It's funny because that's the question. Dauber, I think I know your answer. The chat's going crazy. I love the fact that this randomly came up. But Dauber, I'll let you you can hit this.
Tony V. Look at
answer.
that. Look at that rotation. Dolander, Beam. You got the new transfer portal kid, Maui Yohana.
Chase Burns, and nobody's talking. Nobody's talking
Burns.
about Cam Sewell. Like your three weekend starters are all Americans, and yes, one of them is a second team All American, but still an All American. And nobody's talking about Cam Sewell. I cut you off, Dauber. I'm sorry.
Well, that's Maui Yohana. Coming in to play shortstop. Man, that team is stacked. And you look at what they were able to do last year, and the taste that they have in their mouth after getting put out on your home field after setting all the records they did. Man, they're going to be fun to watch.
We're not covering baseball full time, but I shouldn't say this, but I'm going to say you can bet your sweet ass we're going to cover baseball way more than we cover basketball because that's Boogie's jam. I would much rather get on here and talk about baseball than basketball. So maybe we'll do some random post-game shows on Sunday. We'll do some watch parties. I can't freaking wait for baseball season, man. Yeah. And I already told Kaner, man, I was like, we'll jump on. I'll do some crossovers with you. He asked me, he's like, Boogie, can you tell me some memorable moments from basketball? And I said, no, Kaner, because I don't watch it.
For me, it's definitely the SEC championship for me. And right now, just to go ahead and say, hey, they're on a real good hot streak right now. I'm very impressed that after those two losses that we have, they're on a good hot streak right now. And then of course, we got this big one coming up. We got Kentucky coming into town. So
it's not big now. Kentucky's
struggling, and I don't even watch. But I know
and Barnes, Barnes is Cal's daddy.
Hey, but we all know
we got a T-shirt that says that.
But we all know what Kentucky is. I mean, we know the championships. We know the history of that blue state. But hey,
history don't matter, son. It's here and now.
I thought Gabe was your son. Now you claim an X Factor too?
I must be the stepson. I must be the stepson.
Same daddy, different mama, X. Same daddy, different mama. Goodness gracious, what is happening? We got 200 people watching live. We've talked about the transfer portal. We've talked about the polls. We got sidetracked, had a fun conversation. That's the beauty of giving you guys more live streams. You make it possible. Again, how is this possible? I could not do this thing full time, and I couldn't do it without my wingmen, Dauber, X Factor, even Gabe. Although Gabe's doing his own thing, I'm not going to tell you what it is. Gabe's doing his own thing, and I'm like, go get the world, Gabe. Go do you. Go get it. I said, as long as you're back here on Monday mornings when football season rolls around. And he said maybe. He said maybe, Boogie. So we'll see how that plays out. But we couldn't do this thing if you guys weren't members of the channel. Like if we didn't have the memberships where they're at, I would not be doing this full time. This live stream probably wouldn't be happening. Hit the join button down below. If you don't have a Power T beside your name, hit that join button down below. 99 cents a month. We got 20,000 subscribers around here. Hit that freaking join button down below, as little as 99 cents. If you want to give a little bit more, you can do it. Custom Talkin VAWLS emojis, Power T beside your name, fan call-in shows, watch parties, all kinds of fun stuff. Join the channel. You won't regret it. We would appreciate the support. Joe Bird for 5. Thank you for the super chat. Been a Vols fan for 45 years. Never been to a game. Something makes me want to change that for Joe. Maybe we need to change that for Joe. Maybe we need to figure out a way to send Joe to a game, because he comments on about every single video that I put out. No, Gabe's not gone. Gabe's doing his own thing. I just message him every time we go live. I'm like, you want to jump on? He says yes or no, and then we move on. It's kind of the gimmick that everybody has other than Dauber. I'm like, all right, you got to get on. Shut up and let's go to work. You got a job to do. All right, let's jump into 2023. That's the headline, the main event. That's what this thing is. Way too early. Season prediction for 2023. Like Dauber said earlier, how do we figure this thing out? Because what's the transfer portal going to look like? Who's out? Who's in as we move through spring practice and into fall camp throughout the summer? But you look at the schedule there. Opening thoughts, Xavier. I'll kick it off to you. When you look at that schedule and you realize what Tennessee's got, what they've added in the portal just yesterday, what are your opening thoughts? Kind of go through it. Virginia, Austin Peay, Florida, UTSA, who I've seen a lot of people talking about saying they're a top 25 killer. Tennessee needs to be worried about UTSA. We used to call them UTSA, where I come from. South Carolina, Texas A&M, Alabama, Kentucky, UConn, Missouri, Georgia, Vanderbilt. Early thoughts when you look at that schedule. Don't give me your prediction yet. Just what do you think?
Okay. So what am I thinking? Man, just looking at this schedule, I'm not gonna lie. When I first seen the schedule, I didn't know how to really kind of feel about it. But honestly, I mean, just kind of just looking at the schedule, I feel pretty confident. I mean, like I said again, I'm not gonna give my prediction, but I'm seeing some pretty promising wins on the schedule. I see a couple of losses. I maybe possibly 2 toss-up games, possibly 2, maybe 3. But right now I'm going to stick with 2. But yeah, I'm actually kind of in favor of this schedule. I mean, now I liked this past season schedule a lot better. I mean, you can just imagine like the talent that we just recruited and having the 2020 schedule. Oh man, it would have been crazy what we could have went, this past season with the recruits we got now. But for going into next year, this looks very promising. I'm pretty excited for it.
Dauber, what about you? Opening thoughts when you just look and glance at the 2023 schedule.
Hoping you get to the middle of October undefeated, and then you've got a couple of you got one tough game in the middle of October, and then you got one game there on the back half of the schedule that's going to be tough. Eight wins is the low point. I could see 9, 10 wins. It does set up nice that you've got A&M and Georgia at home, going on the road to Alabama, especially given beating them this year. That's going to be a tough game. But Georgia's going to be a tough game at home. I think A&M is going to be a toss-up. You got what's his name? Motorcycle. What's his name? From Louisville.
Hugh Freeze?
No,
Freeze.
no, the new guy, offensive coordinator. Petrino. Jimbo just got
Petrino and Hugh Freeze are 2 peas in a pod.
Bobby
sorry
Petrino
for getting
down
them confused.
Yeah, Bobby Petrino down there to
comes
call.
the chat. The chat, they're on a lag. The chat had you back. They picked you up, Dauber.
Yeah,
but they're a couple of minutes behind.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a tough game because A&M's got some talent. They've paid a lot of money for that talent and haven't really gotten anything. Jimbo's on the hot seat, but I think South Carolina, there's going to be a lot of motivation with them coming into Knoxville for that
that's a get
game.
back game. I'm ready for that
Yeah.
one. That's a get back.
South
Yeah,
Carolina's getting their ass kicked.
yeah.
That-
We
that-
own one.
They're
Yeah,
getting
we
it.
owe them one.
They're getting
yeah.
it bad. I'm telling you.
Oh yeah, they're gonna get theirs.
But yeah, I think like Kelly says there in the chat, 8-4 is the floor, and you can definitely get to 10 wins again, hit double digits again. New Year's 6, hey, 13-0, 12-0. Let's go,
Dude. They go get double digit wins this in 2023. The recruiting class coming in 2024, on top of what they did in this past recruiting class, the sky's the limit. Like I'm telling this is the year, man. This is the turning point, right? Because we do this to ourselves all the time, and we sell ourselves on a coach, and we say this coach is going to get it done. This coach is the guy. He's the guy. Give him time. He needs patience. But typically, this season would have been an 8-4, 7-5 type of season. But no, Tennessee won 11 ball games, and it's like we really do have the guy. But you're losing so much, and Joe, it's a lot is going to fall on Joe, man. And the defense took a step. The defense took a step this year, man. I know a lot of people don't want to realize that or see that or talk about it. Something else that me and Eric talked about on the show that drops Monday. The defense took a step this year. They got better. I think they're only going to get better next year. I really think the defense takes another step next year, but I think the offense is going to take a step back. You're losing Hendon Hooker, and I love Joe. I love Joe. If Joe plays like he did in the Orange Bowl, Tennessee can win double-digit games, 100%.
He has to be a little bit more efficient, and I think give him the offseason. I think the scheme and the game plan will be more catered to him. The
100%.
Here is another key piece. You lost Golish, and I think the play calling. It was a combination that you saw in the Orange Bowl. Combination of you've got different quarterbacks in Hooker and Milton, and then you got different play callers. So it is going to change, but I think it is going to be built and geared for Joe Milton. And now, you've got the offseason. You've got a battle. They've come out and said, hey, it's there. Come and get it. So, and I think that is an open invitation for Milton, for Jackson, and for Nico. And listen, every one of us on here right now in the chat, the three of us, everybody that is a Tennessee Volunteer fan should want the best person out there under center. And that's going to give this team the best opportunity to win. Be it Joe Milton, if he gets those couple of things dialed in and is a little bit more efficient, is a little bit more accurate, man, he's got an upside that not too many people in this game have. But then, Taven Jackson, don't sleep on him. I think he's going to be pushed because, you got all these people saying, oh, it's Joe's team. And then you got Nico coming in. It's his team after. Where's that leave Taven? He's either going to.
Did you see his tweets where he had the eyebrow emoji and the eyeglass emoji? A lot of people speculating that he's transferring. But you never know what. And I said the same thing. When who was it? I can't remember. Was it when Banks? I don't remember what happened. Somebody tweeted out. No, it was when Jalen Wright tweeted out. And I was like, you never know what these kids are talking about. And then I start getting information saying, oh, no. He's got a huge NIL offer. And then you're like, okay. But it doesn't always mean that. Tweets don't always mean.
There's two ways. There's two things. You either get better or you get bitter and you go somewhere else.
Yep.
So it's going to push him to get better. And, that's what you want is people pushing each other to be their best. And, you got Nico. Nico is, the kid with the golden arm, so much athletic ability, but he's a true freshman.
Which is why we need Joe. I'm telling you, this year's the year, man. if we get through this year, we develop Nico, the sky's the limit. Because if Nico can redshirt and you've got him for 2 to 3 years, sky's the limit. Because if Nico comes in and he is who we think he is, then we're going to take off. And you're going to have all kinds of quarterbacks, wide receivers, running backs. Every offensive player in the country is going to want to come here. But the key is Tim Banks continuing to progress that defense year in and year out. Let me hit some super chats real quick. Big D becomes a member of the channel. Thank you, Big D. Let's see. What is it? Talkin VAWLS faithful. Appreciate that. Thank you, Big D, for that. If you guys want to become a member, hit that join button down below. Let's make it happen. I have a goal in mind. And we're about 250 members away from that. How can we figure out a way? There's 205 people watching. I don't think we can gain 250 memberships, but how can we get you? How can we convince you, the listener, to become a member of the channel? What do you want from us? How can we convince you to hit that join button and give 99 cents a month? That's it. 99 cents a month. This dude, do you know this guy, Dauber?
I don't think so.
Because he loves you. And I think he wants to have your child. I did the stream with Gabe last week, and he was pissed about it. He said, get rid of this stupid kid and bring my beloved Dauber back. So I thought it may be you. I thought it was like you created a fake handle and you were in the chat saying, Boogie, bring me back. What is going on? He's laughing about it. I love it when you guys get my jokes and you laugh and you have fun about it. Matthew says he remembers. I love when you guys understand my humor. I'm always going to bust your balls, just like these guys bust my balls. It's part of the channel, part of the show. So it's always a good fun. Always in good fun. Logan for 5. Thank you for the super chat. I'm really thinking 9-3. But that being said, Alabama and Georgia going to have a new quarterback as well. 10 or 11 regular season wins is totally possible. Sign me up for that. Joe Bird for 5. Thank you all. Grew up in Helenwood, Tennessee. Weather took me to Florida. I would love nothing more than us to rally the troops and become a community and get Joe Bird at his age into Neyland Stadium. That might be my goal. Might be my goal for 2023. You never know what's going to happen around here when Boogie gets crazy. Bleed Orange for $20. That ain't cheap. Doesn't have anything to say. Just a tip in the old tip jar. We appreciate that. Thank you for that. Orange Sea Line, I don't see these often because the member chats don't pop up on StreamYard, but I just saw it on my phone. Orange Sea Line says, Boogie, basketball content, please. Tennessee versus Kentucky this weekend. I won't be home, man. I got a job to do. It's called Upward Basketball. I will be at Upward Basketball all day long from about 7 o'clock in the morning till about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So I can't do it, man. I can't.
But don't worry, Sea Lion. Hey, look, they about to get this orange wave coming in. They said, look, Kentucky don't know what's coming. They don't know what's coming.
We'll do some watch parties, man. We'll find a way to cover it. I hate basketball. It is what it is. Look at X rocking the Talkin VAWLS basketball merch.
Hey, reached number 5 in the country on the week that you're retiring Chris Lofton's number 5 jersey. It's going to the rafters. Man, Kentucky doesn't know what's coming for him Saturday.
You know what's funny though? Somebody told me it because when I made the decision, when the Indy kid left, I said, we're not covering baseball anymore. We're not covering basketball. This channel is all about football. We'll still have some fun with it. We'll cover it every now and then. And some dude commented and was like, you're a stupid idiot. You drop baseball when this baseball team's the hottest it's ever been. And the channel has skyrocketed since I made that decision. So tell me some more of it. Hey, more people want to watch recruiting videos, portal videos. It is what it is, man. It is what it is. I sit here and laugh as the media covers basketball and baseball and struggles to get clicks and views. You know, I want to, oh, that's awesome, Terry. That's awesome. 20 years. Dude, we just celebrated 25 years at my church, 25 years. So that's awesome, Terry. Congratulations, man. 20 years is a long time. Jairus Basinger becomes a member of the channel. Appreciate that. Emoji access, 99 cents a month, guys. Less than a cup of coffee. You can become a member of the channel and make this thing keep rocking and rolling in the free world. We appreciate the support. Should we wrap this thing up? I feel like we've had a great show.
We talked a lot about offense. We've not talked a whole lot about defense.
What do you want to talk about, Dauber? I'll let you take the reins and run with it.
I mean, you're losing 3 to 4 starters. Your best edge rusher in BY from this past season. You said this defense took a step. They improved from 2021 to 2022. Does this continue? I think that the guys are getting coached up. We see that. We've got a heavy defensive 23 recruiting class. So I do think, guys like Chandavian Bradley,
Caleb Herring.
You're going to see some of those guys come in and they're going to have to fill spots. They're going to have to, almost thrown in the fire and learn really quick. Otherwise, I think any gains that you had in 2022, you're going to lose. And that could be a recipe for disaster, because what we've seen, this Josh Heupel team is designed to outscore people. We've said the defense doesn't have to be elite, but you still got to stop the other team from scoring, 45 points when you're scoring 43.
Just keep progressing, right?
Yeah, and that's the thing.
Jimmy's and Joe's, right? And they are adding those Jimmy's and Joe's. Arian Carter, like, look at the linebacker recruiting, man, over the last couple of years. I said it earlier. Caleb Perry, Elijah Herring, and then you add Arian Carter and Jalen Smith and Jeremiah T-Lander. You're stacking the recruiting classes now, and it's not just on the defensive line. It's also at the linebacker position. The one position they got to get better at is in the secondary. They got some good safeties. They got some good safeties, but they got some good corners too. But I think going back to what Xavier said earlier, they need to add some legitimate corners in the transfer portal. I really think they need to bridge that talent gap some way, somehow between now and fall.
Well, and that's, you talk about Carter. How long has it been since Tennessee's been in the mix for somebody like that, who has, Bama and Ohio State and all those schools,
Alabama beating down the door.
Yeah.
Beating down the door of the high school at the last hour.
So, that shows you right there that Tennessee is trending in the right direction. It's, can they put all that together? Can the momentum that they have through recruiting and the transfer portal and an 11-win season and the development of what you have, can that continue and, run into this 2023 season?
Yeah, I just think with the success that we had from this past season, and like I said, these kids are believing in Josh Heupel. They're believing in Rodney Garner, Tim Banks. They're actually believing in this coaching staff. And like what I just said, they see the success we had last season. It's like I said, who doesn't want to come play in this system? I mean, it's fun. And you see what Josh Heupel has built as far as like the locker room chemistry, that family cultural atmosphere. And that's what you want, So, but I just think that we'll take a little minor setback as far as on the defensive side of the ball, because like we said, you got true freshmen coming in. You don't know how they're going to progress. I mean, of course you want them to get better, but you don't know how they're going to, just come out of the gates, when the lights come on the field and it's prime time, like, you don't know how they're going to perform. But I'm very excited that we did recruit, defensive heavily, because that's something we've talked about even before this previous season even started. We was like, we got to get defense. We got to get defense. We got to get defense. And I mean, we basically got what we asked for. Now it's just putting all these Jimmys and Joes and X's and O's together and seeing what the season's going to hold for us.
Let me jam through a couple of super chats real quick. Orange Sea Line for 2 said, I said Kentucky. They don't deserve the T. I apologize for that, Gary. I apologize. I got to clean that up. Thank you for the super chat, my man. Bleed Orange for 5. Oh, yeah, here's my entry fee. We're an hour and 10 minutes into the show, but it's never too late to pay your $5 entry fee, so we appreciate that. Oh, yeah, here's my entry fee. 9-3 GBO. Thank you for that, Bleed Orange. Jeff Puckett for 5. Book it. Our defense will be much better next year. Thank you, Jeff, for the super chat. Appreciate that. All right, so one thing I want to address going back, I saw some people asking if we thought a wide receiver would enter the portal because of, adding Thornton from Oregon. You've already lost 3 wide receivers to the portal. I don't think so. And apparently, allegedly, actually not allegedly, it's a fact. I pissed off Ramel Keaton's dad on Instagram for making a video about Thornton. And I'm sorry, it's not personal, man. Don't take it personal, because I think a kid coming in that's 6'5", 200 pounds with legitimate speed is going to push for a starting spot. And I think it's not going to be in the slot. And I know Thornton played the slot for Oregon. I think it's going to be on the outside. I think he's pushing Ramel Keaton. And I love Ramel Keaton, man. I've said multiple times on this channel that I would love nothing more than to see Ramel Keaton have that, that kind of
breakout year.
Yeah, not redemption
breakout
story. Breakout year is probably a better phrase. And he had a great year in 2022. Like, it's like you said earlier, Dauber. I don't care who does it, man. I'm pulling for everybody in orange. His dad took it personal. And he's like, oh, I'm just going to send this to Ramel and tell him here's another hater. Like, I said nothing negative about Ramel Keaton. His dad is apparently pissed off. It's fine. Don't at me, bro. Don't get in my comments. If you're going to talk about me, at least get your facts straight. I don't think anybody's transferring out. I think Ramel Keaton's going to come compete. Dauber, what do you think? I like you said, we already lost 3 wide receivers. I just don't see it.
Listen, the blueprint has been laid with what Jalen Hyatt did last offseason.
Mhm.
You see, if you are a skilled player in this offense and you put the work in, you're going to get schemed up to have, those opportunities. If you show up, put in time on the practice field, get real familiar with that jugs machine, because we know that you probably want to crank it up because Milton's got the velocity on there. But yeah, man, Ramel's got all the opportunity in the world to have a really good 2023 season. It's just going to take, that drive and that motivation that you saw from Jalen Hyatt, going out and putting the work in and becoming the best wide receiver in college football.
And that's
that
what Wayne
opportunity's
just said.
there.
Iron sharpens iron. Iron sharpens iron.
And keep in mind too, like I said, look, it's football. Look, injuries are going to happen. I mean, it's part of the game. It's part of the sport. So let's say, Dante comes in, and of course, I'm not wishing bad juju on him or nothing like that, but let's say he gets hurt. I mean, you're going to need bodies in the wide receiver room. I mean, look, it's the same situation what happened with Cedric Tillman.
It's
Tillman,
what we saw with Mitchell coming in at
Yeah.
linebacker. He was supposed to be, a spot of need. Guy that started, guy that had a good year, comes in and gets hurt in game, 2?
2, 3.
Yeah. Exactly.
and
Yeah, exactly. So like I said, so you have Dante going down. Not wishing bad juju. I don't want that to happen, but I mean, it's why they play the sport. I mean, injuries are going to happen. It's part of sports, part of football. But yeah, I mean, let's say Dante goes down. Well, you got to put in Ramel Keaton. Same thing with Brew McCoy. Brew McCoy goes down. You got to add in, like saying, Keaton can go to that side. He can go to the outside, or you can even put Ramel Keaton in the slot if you have to. So yeah, I mean, Ramel Keaton's definitely going to get his opportunity. He's definitely going to get more praises. So
need all the weapons in the arsenal that we can have.
100%.
Yeah.
And like Wayne said, iron sharpens iron. Let's wrap this thing up. You guys know the deal. Smash the thumbs up if you haven't already. Also, go check out the merch, bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS. You can pick up all the old favorites. I just got the Boogie Dauber 2024 election shirt. It may be my favorite. It looks like a legitimate presidential campaign shirt. Like, I mean, it looks legitimate. It looks exactly like right there. It is. Looks exactly like a president. I got the blue. It looks so clean, man. It looks exactly like a presidential campaign shirt. I love it. Go check it out. Bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS. Tag us up on Twitter. Let us know if you got it. I want to retweet it. I want to show the world. But we are going to wrap this thing up. Appreciate you guys tuning in. It's not too late to join. Hit the join button down below. 99 cents a month. That's it. A cup of coffee. You can't even get creamer for 99 cents. You can't even get a packet of Splenda for 99 cents anymore. Join the channel. We'll bring you more live streams, more content. We appreciate you guys keeping the light bill paid around here. So thank you for that. But for Dauber, for the X Factor, my name is Boogie Bentley. This is the Talkin VAWLS Network. Go Big Orange.
The